This video is brought to you by...
Hey, what's up? What it is? Yeah, it's your boy AC Green. And we at the end of the year again. And what I came to do is to come and thank you personally for supporting the brand all year long. And also what we want to do over here at Cool Green Clothing to show to you our appreciation and love and support for you that you've been having for us all year long. What we're going to do is we're going to kick Black Friday off early just for you. So go online right now at coolgreenclothing.com and take advantage of these amazing sales that we got going on right now. And also, by the way, you already know, if you ain't cool and getting the green, you're in the way. And that's just basic.
What's going on, YouTube fam? This your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of the Baltimore Way, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. Definitely watch this video to the end to hear the full story and all the details in the case. For the day one fam, y'all already know it's all love. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. If you're new to the channel and you feeling the content, feel free to subscribe. Definitely hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. Let's get right into the story. Beef in the streets. We all know if somebody has a problem with you in certain environments, it's only a few ways it will get handled. In the perfect world, maybe the two individuals at war could meet up, discuss the issue at hand, and come up with a mutual understanding. We can just go about our business. We don't gotta be friends. You do you, stay out my way, and I'll do the same. But with ego and pride, most of the time, that never happens. It's more typical that the beef won't end until somebody is unfortunately gone. In certain situations, the problem could be so deep, going on for generations. Like my father didn't like his father, they shot at each other. Now their sons grow up shooting at each other too. It's inherited. Or retaliation. You spent my block, hit my peoples, so it's only right I get my get back by sliding through yours. All these examples is just the cycle of violence that goes on from generation to generation, only getting worse with time. It's always laugh now, cry later. When you go and pop somebody for something they did to you or your peoples, it might be a feeling of satisfaction until they peoples get their turn. Now you on the receiving end. But when you are out here and got enemies, you always got to know to never underestimate the level somebody else will go to get you out the way. Some might even sacrifice themselves if the beef is that serious. And on this episode of the Baltimore Way, we'll take it back to 2017 to discuss a case of a man accused of a hit on another man over an ongoing beef. Back in 2017, 24-year-old Daniel Brinkley, who friends and family called Danny, was said to be an outgoing, always happy young man trying to navigate the Baltimore streets. Said to be all about his family and his peoples in his circle. But just like most young men in the inner cities of America, shaking and baking, you might make a few enemies along the way, depending on how you are moving out here. Sometimes you might not even know a person got an issue with you. On the early morning hours of October 2nd, 2017, Daniel was outside in West Baltimore by Myrtle Avenue. It was a typical day, people outside on a busy city block when about 8:15 a.m., a man approached Danny, upped the gun, and let off multiple shots, before then going through the young man's pockets as he laid on the ground and fleeing the scene. As it was broad daylight with witnesses outside, somebody quickly called BPD, who responded to the 1300 block of Myrtle Avenue about 8:30 a.m. When they arrived, they found Danny suffering from 6 gunshot wounds. He was rushed to University of Maryland shock trauma, but unfortunately passed away just 30 minutes later. Back on the scene, police found shell casings, cell phone chargers, and loose change left on the ground after the shooter only took certain items out of Danny's pockets. Witnesses familiar with people in the area came forward and told police like Ty did it. That's who shot Danny, referring to 33-year-old Tyrone White. They said they recognized the man from his face, as he himself had previously been shot also. The clothes he was wearing, they also stated Ty only lived a few blocks away. Before the conversation ended, BPD received another call at a church a few blocks away. A person claiming they found some bullets, a brown coat, and brown boots and other items in a trash can. Crime scene technicians took photos and bagged the items up for evidence. After witnesses pointed Ty out in the lineup, less than 24 hours later, he was picked up and taken in for questioning. He claimed he didn't know Danny at all and had an alibi. He wasn't in the area that day. But with people in the neighborhood knowing his face and the leather jacket and boots he always wore that was found blocks from the scene, detectives held Ty until they got a search warrant to search his house. Inside, they allegedly found the journal that Ty was writing in daily, including making multiple threats about Danny, like he gotta go. And just a day before the hit, even writing, "It's time to teach Danny a lesson." When confronted with the evidence, Ty remained silent, but was still charged with first-degree hit, weapon charges, and robbery. DNA was done on the coat, and it was a match for Ty. Also, the bullets found in the church matched the bullets on the crime scene. As the case made its way to trial in 2019, Danny's family read multiple impact statements, letting Ty know the hurt he caused on the family. But the man never spoke, he just maintained he was innocent. Prosecutors painted a picture of a man so focused on the beef, he kept a journal about it and did a broad daylight shooting in the neighborhood that knew him bad face, just to make a point. At first, Ty was found guilty of all charges and sentenced to life plus 35 years in prison. As Danny's family felt justice was served, but not too long after the sentencing, Ty would appeal, and the case would take many twists. His lawyer argued the state made a mistake by not asking members of the jury were they biased in any kind of way, especially that Ty was already a convicted felon. Also, his lawyer pointed out members of the jury found since Ty didn't testify on his own behalf and remained silent the whole time, he was guilty. Basically, he was prejudged and the trial wasn't fair. The judge agreed and he was granted a new trial, but it was problems from the jump. Now, years later, in 2022, the crime scene tech who testified for over an hour in the first trial was done with her career and trying to retire, now in her 60s and taking care of her 90-plus-year-old mother. She was doing everything not to have to go to court. Tired and traumatized by all the murders in the city, she got rental cars, changed her phone numbers so she couldn't be tracked. When police knocked on the door, she simply ducked them or didn't answer when detectives would come by to try to tell her they needed her to testify again in the case she had already took the stand for 5 years ago. That was a big hole in the case because she was the crime scene tech who collected the evidence used to convict from the trash can. Being that the tech didn't show up for court, it was determined the jacket and other evidence might not be able to be used in the case. Eventually, with all the loopholes, Ty's trial would end in a mistrial and he won his appeal. A new trial was scheduled, but I couldn't find any information whether or not Ty walked or not, even though he still had pending cases to fight on other charges. The crime scene tech allegedly got tired of going to court, even being subpoenaed and arrested. She refused to keep testifying and stated she wanted to move away and she felt the heavy burden about everything she witnessed going to court and watching families suffer in the city. Rest in peace to Daniel. I send my deepest prayers and condolences to his family. Ty, as of now, is innocent until proven otherwise. So I will say I'm not sure what the alleged beef was about, but for anybody to do a hit broad day on a busy street and allegedly kept a journal about it, it had to be deep. Sometimes as we navigate life, the streets, enemies, I always noticed people saying what a person won't do. Like, yo won't do this, or yo a swine. He ain't even like that. You gotta move accordingly, and moving smart shouldn't be considered moving scared. If you know you got enemies and you a target, sometimes you gotta duck off for a minute. It might seem like a sucker move, but it's chess out here, not checkers. The right move can save your life. Not saying this was Danny's situation, but the streets talk. You pretty much know who got something against you and for what reasons. It's kind of a lose-lose, because if I do something to you, I might get a life sentence. But if I call you a bluff and you do something to me, Now I'm gone and my family left to mourn. But hey, that's the Baltimore way. Man, crazy situation. I ain't gonna say too much more about this one. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Definitely be respectful. I appreciate you if you made it to the end. Y'all already know it's all love, fam. It's another episode of the Baltimore Way. It's your boy Tony 2 times. I'm out.